Knicks defeat the Atlanta Hawks 113-102 in a matchup of 3 versus 6. Knicks handled their business tonight. I'm Ben Little. This is Knicks Express, presented by XSUTV. Man, oh man, you couldn't have asked for a better game from the New York Knicks tonight. And yeah, to be honest, I wasn't really looking forward to, I guess, the feeling of excitement in this round one matchup. But got to be honest with you, man. After everything this team's been through from last year till now, the overachieving, defeating Boston in the second round last year, getting on to the Eastern Conference Finals, where they ultimately, I guess you could say, from overachieving, they somehow underachieved because the expectation rose in real time. And then they lost that series. And you fire Tom Thibodeau. What's the plan at coach? You end up with Mike Brown, who apparently or allegedly was the, I don't know, 7th or 8th choice. But ultimately, here we are today in 2026, first round, game one, at home, how it should be. And the Knicks just handled business. I don't think the game was ever in doubt. The Knicks looked like the better team from wire to wire. Jalen Brunson, Jalen Brunson, 19 points in the first quarter. I thought he was on his way to 40. And, he does hold the record for Knicks playoff games with 40-plus points. I thought he was on his way to 40 points. He ended with 28, so that doesn't matter. Karl-Anthony Towns did in the fourth what Jalen did in the first. Took control, was the best player on the floor, and that's exactly why you go out and get Karl-Anthony Towns if you're the New York Knicks. I know it's a round one series. I know it's game one, but come on, man. I'm telling you, I went from Knicks better win this game, I don't really care too much about this series, to wow. After the 13-year playoff drought, losing to Atlanta in 2021, being a starved franchise, we just didn't see success for a very long time, over a decade. And that was the first year, that 2021, we get into the playoffs and we get a little taste and we get smacked, we're out of there. And then we respond, and this year, 50 plus wins the last 3 seasons. Again, even with a new head coach, we're continuing on that trajectory of being a championship contender. And so tonight, if there's any indication that the Knicks made the right move at head coach, I will explain in just a moment why that was proven tonight. We'll take a look. We'll take a listen to Monica McNutt and the Knicks post game, courtesy of MSG.
Sluggish starts that sometimes they succumb to. And then in the second half, once Karl-Anthony Towns truly got revved up, I thought he was monstrous in that fourth quarter, finishing with 25 points tonight.
Well, that was short. Karl-Anthony Towns with 25 points. I think, excuse me, the takeaway from that, I know I was leading with something else, but the takeaway from that, Karl-Anthony Towns with 25 points. I believe he had 11 of those points in the fourth quarter. So again, doing late what Brunson did early, just taking over the game, being the best player on the floor. That's exactly why you go out and get Karl-Anthony Towns. It gives you 2 bona fide all-stars. And essentially tonight you saw the opener and the closer. The 2-man game was also on display at moments and times. I think early on, I don't know if it was Brunson's first basket, maybe it was an assist from Karl-Anthony Towns. So I don't know, it looked about as good as it could look for the majority of the game. And you have to be very excited about that. Take a look at this. Well, get off the stage. You already said what you had to say. Thank you for your contribution. So here we go. That doesn't really fit right. We look at the side-by-side comparison. Knicks were very well from the free throw line, 63% for Atlanta. it's really, I don't know how they did all season. I haven't really followed up on Atlanta throughout the year. I wasn't concerned about that team. But the Knicks were 83%, 25 of 30. The numbers look really interesting, right? 25 of 30. You'd think that's a little bit better than 83%, but I'm not a mathematician. So 22 assists for the team. It's pretty good. 7 steals, 11 turnovers. Not too bad. You'd like to get that number in single digits, but 11 is not too bad. But it's not good either. Fast break points, not too bad. Points in the paint. Knicks outscored Atlanta 44-42. What I liked, well, obviously the largest lead was 19. But what I like the most about this was the 48% from three, 12 of 25. Look how many threes Atlanta took. 37 threes, 14 made. Knicks took 12 less three-point attempts and made 2 less. That's going to win you most times. That's going to win most games that you play when you shoot like that. 48%, that's one thing. Both teams could have shot 48%. But if, one team attempted, I don't know, let's just say 21 threes, the other one attempts 37. If Atlanta was 48% tonight, the Knicks would have got smoked. So, you do live and die by the three. We saw that last year in games 1 and 2 versus Boston, where I think Boston was something like, man, I can't remember the exact numbers, but it was horrible. They were really terrible. I think they had over 60 attempts through 2 games, maybe 70 attempts through 2 games, and they hit a very low percentage. So, for the Knicks to open up after a 5-day layoff, very impressive, 12 of 25 from 3. That right there, if you tell me the Knicks shoot 12 of 25 from 3, I'm going to tell you they probably win 9 out of 10 games. So no concern in terms of the layoff, the coach. I think the Knicks showed you everything you needed to see tonight. Let's take a listen to Udonis Haslem on the Prime post game, which that sounds and feels weird. I don't even live in New York anymore, but I get all the streamings that you could imagine, all the subscriptions, right? And I got to see this game on Prime, but I mean, it's just, I don't know, it's weird, not to at least have the first round. You took away everything. We don't even have like NBA on NBC. We don't have the TNT regular season anymore. Whatever. Anyway, here's Udonis Haslem. He asks a very, very key question, which will finish the lead that I started to go into previously.
Had a lot of contributions from different guys off the bench, and I understood that throughout the season you guys were looking for different guys to step up and give those contributions. You always get that from Mitchell Robinson, but tonight you got Landry going, you got Clarkson going, other guys got going. How important is that going to be for you guys to reach your goal as far as winning a championship?
It's very important.
So, of course, the right there is very telling because it's very important. That's why Tom Thibodeau lost his job. So in case you missed that, I'm going to just play it again really quickly.
A lot of contributions from different guys off the bench, and I understood that throughout the season you guys were looking for different guys. Those contributions, you always get that from Mitchell Robinson, but tonight you got Landry going, you got Clarkson going, other guys got going. How important is that going to be for you guys to reach your goal as far as winning a championship?
It's very important.
So he mentioned that you always get the contributions from Mitchell Robinson, which is true. The Knicks always get those contributions from Mitch. He's truly a gem. 2nd round pick. He's now the longest tenured Knick. Funny, in that 2021 series, we didn't have Mitchell Robinson against Atlanta. And Knicks fans knew if Mitch had played, he would have destroyed that team. And the Knicks would have even been on to bigger and better things sooner. But all things in stride. We take the good with the bad. He's here now. Knicks managed him tremendously throughout the season. He played, I believe, 62 games out of the 82, which is unbelievable to have him here all season long like that and able to make contributions in game 1. It's beautiful to see. But the question that was asked, it's very interesting. It's almost like he was trying to lead Jalen Brunson somewhere. You got the contribution from Mitch, which we expect, but now you had Landry in there, which is Shamet, but Landry Shamet. and Jordan Clarkson and Miles McBride, who's another constant off the bench for the Knicks. These players, though, the minutes that the Knicks played tonight, the starters, not a single starter over 40 minutes. That is exactly why Tom Thibodeau was fired. That's why Mike Brown was hired. And it could have been anybody. It could have been someone else, for example, not anybody, but it could have been someone else, and maybe they handle it the same way. Brunson, I believe, was fond of Thibodeau, by all accounts, liked him as a coach. But I think even he would admit that being able to come out and play this game, let's just take a good look at last season, for example. Game 1, these are the numbers for Game 1 last year against Detroit. Okay, OG Anunoby, 44 minutes. Miles McBride, Mikal Bridges, 44 minutes. Brunson, 42 minutes. He did have a 40 piece in that game, which is nice to see. I'm telling you, he could have had 40 in 28 minutes tonight. That's how on fire he was. But look at those minutes. Look at the bench. There goes Mitch. Cam Payne, unbelievable. Miles McBride. Look, it's not apples to apples because you don't have Jordan Clarkson over here. You did have Landry Shamet, though. And look at all these just coaches' decisions. Yeah, the coaches' decisions. I think that's exactly why Tom Thibodeau was fired. So look at the 3 players over 40 minutes. You had Karl Anthony Towns, who he had 10 points in 37 minutes last year. And you take a look at today's game or last night's game, and look at that. Not a single player over 40 minutes. Josh Hart, OG Anunoby lead the way with 38 and 37 minutes. That seems better. I mean, that's more appropriate. Look at Jalen Brunson. Bridges only 32 minutes, and he's the Iron Man. Karl Anthony Towns tonight, 25 points. Now he got, look at it, 10 of 10 from the strike. What was he last year? I'm just curious. From the free throw line. 2 of 3 last year from the free throw line. Yeah, I don't know. Look, it's not apples to apples because the opponent's different, but just focusing only on the Knicks. Karl Anthony Towns, far more productive today. Far, in terms of, a winning basketball team, this version of Karl Anthony Towns is the version that the Knicks need to get where they're going. Let's take a listen again to what Monica McNutt said.
Jalen Brunson started this basketball game making sure there was no sign of the 5 days of rest that this team had, no sign of the sluggish starts that sometimes they succumb to. And then in the second half, once Karl Anthony Towns truly got revved up, I thought he was monstrous in that fourth quarter, finishing with 25 points tonight.
Yeah, interesting, Monica. You know why there was no sign of being sluggish? Because these guys knew they weren't going to have to go 42, 43, 44 minutes tonight. That's exactly why. That's exactly why. They knew they weren't going to have to go 42, 43, 44 minutes. You have a job, right? If you know you have an 8-hour day today, a normal shift, right? Maybe 2 hours of overtime. Maybe you have a 10-hour day. And last year, you were doing 14s. Obviously, I think mentally you go into it saying, you know what? I only got to do my 8 today. Got to do my 10. I think the Knicks players don't have to worry about, I guess they're just a little bit more freed in their minds. 42, 44 minutes. I'm a guy watching the game from the couch, right? I've played basketball in my life. And I can attest to the fact that while I haven't played in the NBA, I think that there's a huge difference in just 2 minutes of playtime versus, 42 minutes versus 39 minutes. Could be a very big difference. Doesn't sound like a lot because it's 3 minutes, but you watch games. 3 minutes maybe is 12 minutes in real time. And so just, the up and down, the flow, the rest, it matters. It taxes you. Every extra minute, there's tax. It's not free. So it's just good to see the Knicks figure some things out today, man. The scoring looks really good. The bench scoring could be better, and I'm sure that'll come. You'd like to see there were opportunities, I think, for Mitchell Robinson to get some alley oops. Brunson, it was in the first quarter, most notably. I think Brunson's first miss, actually. Mitch kind of went up and tried to follow and slam it back, but, he was too far under the rim. But that should have been an alley oop opportunity. So I think while the 19 points in the first quarter was outstanding for Brunson, I do like the fact that he still tallied up 7 assists, 5 rebounds. He was a +5. All the Knicks were pluses, actually. Jordan Clarkson put in some good minutes, man. 8 points in 11 minutes, a +9. Look at that. Everyone had an assist except OG Anunoby. That's the Knicks played some good basketball today, man. And they weren't even as good as they can be. They weren't, their absolute best by any means, but they were damn good today and they handled business. It's good to see. It's game one. It's one game. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to sit here and shun the Knicks for winning this game. I mean, imagine if they'd lost the game, what people would say. So we have to celebrate the small victories. In this case, it's one win towards the championship, 15 more to go. Will it happen? I don't know. But we got to take it one game at a time. I'm Ben Little. This has been Knicks Express presented by XSUTV, and we'll see you after game 2. Ciao.